Position at Walt Disney World, and what did you do?
I worked in the main kitchen as chef's assistant, a little bit of everything in the beginning. You know, we were all new, we were all hired on the same level, and then we moved up to different levels.
And you worked at the Contemporary Hotel?
The whole time. The head chef was German. He came from Germany. He couldn't hardly speak much English. The head chef, has a very tall hat, the tallest paper hat. The second hat is a sous chef, S-O-U, sous chef. And he's the bar manger man. Bar manger, look it up. It's a big room where they do all the fruits and vegetables and anything pertaining other than meat. It's a big room, has its own, of course they all had their own refrigerators. and that chef was a sous chef. His hat was a little bit shorter. Then all the rest of the chefs had prep chef hats, a little bit smaller than, there were three sizes. Families came from all over Europe, and they stayed at the Polynesian and they're all at the campground.
What was the difference between the Contemporary Hotel and the Polynesian?
Oh, Polynesia was a buffet, and it was more casual. Where Disney they had certain rooms that were really high class, private rooms, a lot of private rooms, and just more fancy.
How long did you work at Disney? What years, to be exact?
About 10 years.
And from 1971 until 1981?
Uh-huh.
And you said you had to train prior to the opening?
We trained, I don't know, the Hilton South on OBT. It wasn't very far from the property. We trained there. Of course, it was mostly office and talking. Then we went to the hotel and worked in the main kitchen.
What was the best part about working for Disney?
Oh, the biggest thing for me was the first Thanksgiving. We had all these turkeys in big pans laying all over the floor. I think there were 50 or 60 pans of turkeys, and they had rotisserie ovens, and they cooked those turkeys for 2 days, you know, rotating them around.
Oh, wow.
Those kind of things kind of shocked me.
And your family was included in that?
They could go to the park, to any place they wanted to go, but they didn't come to the kitchen.
Okay.
Very real strict about the food. Supervisors and inspectors were always around with their thermometers, checking the temperatures, and, you know,
right.
it was opened.
What was the Disney experience like?
I traveled all the way from Maitland, so it wasn't a travel. It's just a good experience, fun, every day was different, all the time, new people.
How do you think Disney World revolutionized Central Florida's tourism industry?
You know, it affected all the economy. It affected the taxi cabs, it affected the hotels, it affected everybody. You know, reservations, airlines, the whole place was affected. It was just like it was on fire. When you saw it, you thought, oh gosh, I'm there, you know, I'm doing that. That was the fun part.
You got to see it firsthand at with all the tourists and staying there?
We got to see visitors. Sometimes we worked up at the buffet on top of the world. And if they needed help in the park, some of us would relieve, and you had to go down in the basement, you know, down in the tunnel, and go over, get your costume. The costumes and laundries and everything was in the basement. Then you'd come up the steps to your location. You didn't walk there by the elevator. You just came up and you were right in the show. Of course, it's a big show. You know, that's their famous word. Showcase. Show.